Did you guys hear about how Shroud, of all people, started playing Overwatch a few weeks back? I think among many reactions, a lot of us start to ask, why? Because I guess he just doesn't strike us as the type of player who would enjoy this game? Or perhaps we just assume that any content creator that did not start playing in the beta would not be interested in the game in the first place? I don't know what it is, but Shroud in his journey through Overwatch ends up saying so many relatable things that made me think back to my time starting out in the game. I'm not having fun, but I want to keep playing. Is that weird? Is probably the most Overwatch thing Shroud could have said. In a lot of my videos covering things that go way back in history when it comes to the general lifespan of Overwatch, you will hear me say that I've been playing this game ever since the very beginning. But I don't think I've ever elaborated on how I got into it in the first place. Primarily because nobody cares. But I also don't have anything else to talk about right now, so I figured that this might make for an interesting video for at least a few of you. You see, the way I've approached gaming, I always got really deep into a few of them to try and get as good as possible, rather than spreading myself thin across many titles. In that sense, I have always had a main game, and Overwatch has been taking that place for the past few years. But before Overwatch was announced, there was Dirty Bomb, an indie action FPS made by Splash Damage that, quite frankly, could have been the perfect game for me if they didn't run it into the ground. Dirty Bomb was everything I loved about FPS gaming. Fast-paced, mobile, diverse, and in a modern military setting. I spent close to 1,000 hours in that game by the time BlizzCon rolled around in 2014. The reason I cared about BlizzCon in the first place, even though Dirty Bomb was my main game, was because I've been playing World of Warcraft as well. I started playing during the Burning Crusade and had been literally addicted to that game for a good while at the beginning. While my interest in World of Warcraft as my main game had its ups and downs, I always loved and respected Blizzard because of the love and attention to detail they put into their games. As such, I would not want to miss the BlizzCon opening ceremony at any cost, even if I could only attend online. And that's how we got our first glance at Overwatch.
I want you all, as I freak out, to relax. I want you to open your hearts and your minds to what comes next. You are about to get a glimpse into the future. So my friends, get a load of this. We hope you love it like we do. I'll see you on the other side.
The reveal of Overwatch was kind of an emotional moment for me, because back then I felt myself in a really dark place in my life. As much as I don't want this video to turn into a really sappy one, there are very good reasons for why I don't want to let go of this game. You know, the idea of heroes trying to go out and save lives really appealed to me at the time. And there was one really dumb, super cheesy line that very strongly resonated with me in particular.
You know, the world could always use more heroes.
I had my life saved by a very talented doctor back in 2010, and in a sense, he was a hero to me. But what followed that second chance were a lot of hardships. You'd think that surviving in itself would be good enough, but surviving is not living. These types of experiences can be very scarring, and I know for a fact that I would not be here anymore right now was it not for that doctor. But also, was it not for my girlfriend at the time? Was it not for my friends and family? Was it not for a lot of online personalities that, just by uploading dumb and silly videos, allowed me to escape my own thoughts for at least 30 minutes every day? Yes, the man who performed the surgery was a hero to me, but so was every single content creator that I watched at the time, and they don't even know it. This was one of the big reasons why I wanted to become a content creator myself. Yes, I wanted to do something I enjoyed doing, and prior to that, I had been making different types of content already. I made 2D sprite animations, I was writing a blog, I even had a couple YouTube channels, but it was after all those hardships and that tremendous amount of help that I got from people who would never know that they too saved my life that I wanted to do the same for other people. Believe it or not, but this channel you're looking at right now started as a Let's Play channel. It wouldn't be until I got really invested in Dirty Bomb as my main game that I would see any amount of traction on YouTube. But at its core, I made this channel for the sake of giving people these 30 minutes of escape every day that I so direly needed back then myself. The more I learned about YouTube and what it means to grow a channel, the more I drifted away from that idea. Let's Plays as a form of content were not sustainable on the platform anymore, and as such, a lot of Let's Players moved over to Twitch. I learned that if I wanted to reach an audience and make a difference, I needed to play the YouTube game. I needed to learn about searchability, clickbait, and everything in between. It is a little sobering to think about what eventually became of my channel, how I do little more than talking about Overwatch, and how this was not at all why I started doing this in the first place. ways. I eventually ended up doing things that I just so happened to be better at. I'm not good at entertaining. I was not making for a good Let's Player in the same way I don't make for a good streamer. So as much as I enjoy making Overwatch content, sometimes I wish I could be a little more personal with you guys and try to get closer to the goal that I had when I originally made this channel. Anyway, I felt it was important for you to know why the Overwatch reveal at BlizzCon meant so much to me. I was suffering from some kind of post-survivor depression and all the problems that come with repeated surgery that was frequent enough for me to warrant dropping out of college. I spent 2 years hopping from surgery to surgery, doctor's office to doctor's office, and I really felt I needed these heroes in my life at the time. And I wish that I could have been one myself, which is why I really wanted to play that game so badly. And here's the funny thing, you know how people do this very hipster thing where they hate on things that are popular just because? Well, as much as I was excited about Overwatch, I also just so happened to not be a fan of things that get overhyped. The fact that people were calling Game of the Year awards on the basis of demos and closed betas annoyed the hell out of me. There's no way this game can be that good, I told myself, itching to finally try it myself. And I wouldn't get a chance to do so until the open beta, which means that for a very long time, I was consuming as much content of the game as I could. I was longing for my favorite YouTubers to upload another gameplay video so that I could get my Overwatch fix. So I was feeling very bipolar in that sense. And when the beta was finally accessible to mortal human beings such as myself, and I finally got to try the game, well, I didn't feel like I was wrong when I said that there's no way this game can be that good, because it wasn't. It was an amazing game that I loved playing. I was no-lifing it in the same way I was no-lifing World of Warcraft when I first got into it. But just like WoW, the game had its flaws. But maybe that's just the hipster in me not wanting to admit that these other guys were right. I started incorporating Overwatch into my upload schedule and my audience absolutely hated it. Dirty Bomb was a very small game, and as such, a lot of people in the community actually knew me, and knowing that Overwatch would be competing for the same audience, they were very hostile towards it. And I get it. Dirty Bomb was already struggling as is because of the poor management and decisions coming from splash damage, but Overwatch would only be one of the many nails in the coffin that eventually marked the end of that game. The way I got my foot in the door in the first place was thanks to a friend of mine. Andrew, otherwise known as Candyroo, gave me no less than 2 shoutouts back when we both made Dirty Bomb content, and then again we made the switch to Overwatch. So a lot of what I'm doing here on YouTube is actually owed to him and his willingness to share his success. My first ever breakout video in Overwatch happened when I stopped doing gameplay videos and started getting into scripted discussions and tips. Kinda like what I'm doing today. And to this date, my most successful video on the platform was the one that got me my first boost in subscribers. It's how to find your main in Overwatch. A video that grew popular enough for many others to go out of their way to copy it at the time, which I felt was crazy to think about. It wasn't even that good of a video, to be entirely honest, but I also think that's kinda par for the course. If you look at your old videos and you don't feel like they're bad, I think that means you have not made enough improvements along the way, and there are always things that can improve. But that's kind of the story behind it. I have a very hard time letting go of Overwatch because for one, I really love the gameplay. It offers so much in terms of mechanics that I really enjoy, and it also has so much variety in it that I just never find myself getting bored of playing it. Frustrated, yeah, but never bored. And also, there's a lot of emotional attachment I have to this game because it was announced at a time in my life where I felt I really needed it. The world could always use more heroes is something I still believe to be true, and I think each and every one of us should strive to be one. Even little things can help and make you be a hero to somebody in that exact moment. A positive comment can lift somebody up at a time where you were not even aware that they are struggling, because really, a lot of people suffer in silence, and sometimes that one act of kindness can make a positive difference, as insignificant as it seems to you. With that said, I definitely should not be the one preaching this, considering how toxic I am. But I think you get the message. And I guess that wraps up the video for today. Kind of a different version of storytime videos I made in the past, especially considering that I bothered to script this one. But I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. And if you did, you know, do the YouTube things. Drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.